Welcome in to another episode of my Dynasty Fantasy Football YouTube. Today, it's a different kind of episode where I'm going to detail why you should join the Patreon and why it's so important, especially as we head into the season. But first, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. With that said, I'm going to jump into it. Now, I know I've done a video like this before. I did it about a month ago, but I felt like we needed an update going into the season. So on the Patreon, we're offering a few things. We meaning me. A couple of things. So we have rankings. I have my rankings on there. Start sit rankings will be included, as they have been the last 3 years. I also have Dynasty. I still have redraft and rookie ranks during rookie season. That's not super relevant right now. Then, of course, there's the Discord, which is my community. And as a part of that, you can ask questions in there, which are published on this YouTube channel. And also sign up for Patreon roster reviews. And then you get direct message advice. And I did talk about all of this on the last promo video. I'm happy to answer any questions about any of it. But basically, the Patreon is my way of helping you win and also have fun and enjoy a nice community, all of those things. Get to hear more about my actual thinking that's not captured in one tweet or these videos, which I kind of run through everything very quickly. But for now, I want to focus on the thing that's going to be really different this year, which is start sit, which is also the main thing I do in season on the Patreon. So we're heading into the NFL season. In the past, for the last 4, even 5 years, I've done a lot of start sit question and answer on Twitter, now X. And I also tried to do some start sit content on YouTube here and there multiple different times. And it's never really worked out for different reasons. On YouTube, it just doesn't seem to work in the algorithm. Start sit videos, they kind of become not so important the second they're published. And unfortunately, I haven't found a way to do live content and have it work in the algorithm. If I could have possibly come up with a way to do start sit content on YouTube and make it successful, I would. But I've tried every version of that. I think with start sit, the problem is that people want to have their own questions answered. And that is what is important to them. And while that's great for Twitter or an interactive platform like my Patreon, it's hard to do that on a YouTube video. It kind of has to be live, but then a lot of people have to watch it, which is almost impossible. I never was able to make it work. And I've tried so many versions of it. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be doing that on YouTube. Now, as for why I'm not going to do it on Twitter, there's quite a few reasons for that. Number one, there's only downside and no upside. If I ever tell anyone to do anything wrong, one mistake, anything, and even with start sit, the best analysts, and I mean the best, are 60 to 65% correct. The best. Yet blasted if anything is ever wrong. Ever. And if I get something right, no one cares. So I'm exposing myself to a lot of negative energy for zero benefit. So first of all, it does nothing for me and it only hurts me. So that's one reason why I would do it. Would not do it on Twitter anymore. Another reason, number two, and I think this is really the main reason, is that the idea of giving start sit away for free to encourage people to sign up for the Patreon has not worked. It does not work. If it worked, I would do it, but it doesn't. It doesn't work. So I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to do it. And for those of you who have liked my start sit on Twitter, this is why we're doing this video. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't care how much people are upset about it, how much people ask for it. I do not care. I'm not going back on this decision. So this is how it's going to be. Because at the end of the day, I genuinely believe that, I mean, I answer hundreds of questions every Sunday morning. I am the best at this. I have been the best at this for years. And, a wise person once told me, if you're really good at something, never do it for free. That was the Joker, but, whatever. Good movie, The Dark Knight. But I do kind of believe that. Like, if I really do believe I'm so good at it, and hundreds of people want my start sit advice, thousands over the years, I'm not getting anywhere just giving it all away for free, right? Now, I do believe I am the best. I can't tell you how many people have thanked me for winning titles for my start sit advice on the Patreon, on Twitter in the past. But as great as that is, and it does make me feel really great, good feelings don't make a business, my Patreon, successful. They don't. It doesn't work that way, which sucks. And part of me hates this in a way. It's like tough, but this is kind of just a necessary step. And if I didn't believe in this, and of all the things I do, my general dynasty strategy, dynasty startup advice, and start sit are the two things I am the best at. Those are the things that am I the best YouTuber in the world? No, I'm not going to tell you I make the best YouTube videos on planet Earth. I know that I don't. Redraft, I mean, I do it, but is that my specialty? No. But like start sit and dynasty strategy, those are the two really specialties that I have. I am beyond good at this. And with that said, I'm making big improvements this year. One of the big things is since start sit will only be for paying customers. It's not occurring in the YouTube comments either. If you ask me to start sit in the YouTube comments, it's going to be the same as the Twitter. You're going to get I'm not taking these questions here. I'd love to take them on the Patreon. Or I'll do it on the Buy Me a Coffee too. If you just want to ask one question and you don't want to have a subscription, I'll do it there too. But I'm going to focus on the paying customers because, while it's great that people enjoy my tweets, that makes me feel good. It's even better when someone takes the time to watch my YouTube videos. That's even better. But what's really important is when someone pays me for my content. So I'm going to make it better on the Patreon. I think I have not done as good as I could have done in the past. So what are we going to change? We're going to add more detailed flex ranks to the ranking spreadsheet. We're also going to provide some reasoning in the Patreon Discord. Not that I didn't do this in the past, but more on that. Why I'm choosing a particular answer for start sit. Why I like this matchup over another. Why this, why that. How I'm coming up with these rankings. These types of things. They're not going to be available publicly. I don't think they'll play well on a YouTube video anyway. This will be done in the Patreon Discord. And I promise, people have won championships on my start sit year after year after year. There are idiots on Twitter. They'll tell you, well, it doesn't matter. You can start sit is irrelevant. Well, you can start any player. Oh, it really makes no difference. Those people are so wrong. They're so wrong. They are wrong about that. There's a huge edge to be gained by following start sit and really being diligent about these decisions every week. So they're so wrong. I would highly suggest signing up for the Patreon. And then, look, if you sign up for the whole year and you don't like it, I didn't do a good job for you, don't come back, but you tried it. You tried it, and then I can't say anything about it. If you tried it and you didn't like it, it wasn't for you, fine. But if you just are unwilling to try it, well, then maybe I'm not going to help you. Because then you have no idea how good the product really was. But yeah, I just really believe in this. So I would appreciate everyone who gives it a try. Yeah. Now, beyond start set, in-season dynasty rankings. Now, as you probably know, I reference my rankings on the YouTube channel pretty often. And in season, I update these. In addition to start set, I update these dynasty rankings at least once a week, probably more often, usually twice, which is a lot more than your average dynasty analyst. I see reputable dynasty sites. I'm not going to name any. You can figure out which ones I'm probably talking about. Rankings are not updated for weeks at a time. And even when they are, they're not updated with any recent events. Out of date. I heard some very reputable analysts say, you shouldn't update your dynasty rankings after at least it needs 4 weeks in the season to update anything. That is a lunacy, a crazy idea. Ridiculous statement. These rankings should be updated every week. Things change every week. And I will not only update them, but I will explain my updates. You can buy the rankings separately. I do sell them separately. I understand that not everyone wants all of the Patreon stuff. Not everyone wants to do a subscription. But if you want the explanations for the rankings, those are only available in the Patreon Discord. It's included at all Patreon tiers. But if just the rankings are good for you, I do sell those separately. And they are updated with all news and a vigorous schedule to help you in season with making those in-season trades, because I think that's a critical part of Dynasty. And I think people, Dynasty analysts in season, your average Dynasty analyst is lazy with updating their rankings. I am not lazy. I will be there and updating them probably more than is necessary, but I would rather be more active and, more proactive in doing these things than lazy. I will never, ever be lazy. Now, the in-season Patreon Discord. So I talked about this a little bit on the other video, but in the Discord, we have sections, really. There's a section for Dynasty, separate for Dynasty trades, another for redraft, another for start sit. The start sit is going to be very active during the season. Again, we're going to have discussion, and not just me, too. I have it split up in a good way. There are separate places to ask me a question versus a group discussion. I think people should have an opportunity to discuss a moderated discussion. I think, yeah, I am really good at this, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm not. But I think that it's good to hear other people's opinions and not just wait for me to answer everything. I'm only one person. I think there's a lot of interesting dialogue that can occur. And I help moderate that. But I don't always want to just be the be all and end all of everything. I think people should have their own opinions and not just do everything that I tell them to. So that's something important on the Discord for me, making it a community. And it's also the place where you ask questions for the YouTube videos. I know you see that on these YouTube videos. At the end of the video, you usually see Patreon questions. Those come from my Patreon Discord, and there's a separate section for that. I try to keep it all very organized. And it's also where you sign up for Patreon roster reviews, which I'll get into a little bit later. Now, the in-season direct message advice. So kind of the same as the rest of the year. The only difference is that I also cover redraft and start sit advice in addition to dynasty questions. And the current pricing structure, $12 a month for one team, $14 for two, $16 for three teams, and $25 for unlimited teams, unlimited questions. That's kind of the way I did it. I know it's not, look, am I policing, two teams, three teams? I'm probably not getting that deep into it. Like if you have an extra start sit question here and there, like I trust people to be like kind of on their honor about this. Like I'm not like super much of a hard ass about it. If people pay for this level of support from me, I'm usually over helpful if I possibly can be. The only thing I always ask is like, if we're doing dynasty startups, I don't do dynasty startups over the number of teams that you signed up for. But if you have start sit questions about other teams that are not the one I'm technically helping you with, I don't care about that. Like you went above and beyond to support me. It's no big deal if there's an extra question here and there. So I always want to go above and beyond for the people who sign up for this level of advice. And lastly, the last thing I offer is the Patreon roster reviews. So they're separate from the rest of the Patreon, and they're not included in the subscription. They're sold separately at $30 each, but only patrons can buy them. And all patrons get to watch all of the roster reviews, even if they never purchase one. You can watch other people's. If you buy one, I'll examine your roster and kind of cover everything: league format, your previous finishes, past trades, rookie draft, startup draft, team evaluation, next steps, future trade. And I'd be happy to cover redraft leagues now that we're in season. We cover dynasty trades as we go in season, maybe even talk a little bit of start sit, that kind of thing. There's a lot of extra things we can do with these roster reviews in season. So they're always available to sign up for at any time for anyone who's a patron. And now I want to close out the video with this. I did a version of this on the last Patreon video. Things have kind of changed a little bit since then. Independent content is hard to produce. And now, as you know, I left DLF a few weeks ago. I hadn't really written anything there much recently, but I did leave, and I'm not planning on going to write for or do anything for any other company at this moment. So I'm a 100% independent content creator. And the YouTube channel, it's doing better. It's still not super profitable, but overall, the Patreon is really what supports everything. And like I kind of said last time, it's hard. It's hard to... The thing that really kind of gets me the most is how often people say, I love your content, but I won't give you even $1 to support it. Because as much as it sucks, in our society, the way, it's a capitalist country, a capitalist society, that basically means that you don't really support it, right? Like, it's great that you feel that way, but it doesn't keep it going. And it's hard because I love doing this. And I don't know why I always get this emotional when I get to this part of the video, but it used to be that it was so easy to get people to sign up. And I don't know if it's because the pandemic is over, or, maybe Twitter is different, or whatever has come along the way, but it's hard. It's hard to get new signups. Ironically, the last time I did this promo video was the best signup day I had all year. I hadn't had many signups before, and after that day, I haven't had that many signups since. And if you're on the fence about it and you love my content, I'd really appreciate signing up. Even if you sign up and it's not for you, at least you tried. At least you tried it. And that would mean a lot to me. And it's hard. It's hard because for some reason, there's just an attitude that fantasy football content should all be free. And if it's all free, then you're not going to get the best people creating content, because the best people aren't going to do stuff for free. So, yeah, if you like my content, the link is up there in the corner, and I'd just give it a chance. I'd really appreciate it. I do appreciate everyone watching this video. I know this has basically just been a 20-minute long advertisement. Leave a comment with your thoughts on the Patreon, or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. As always, the best way to support the channel is to subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notifications bell to be notified about all my exciting content as it drops. And I just really appreciate anyone who considers or subscribes to the Patreon after watching this video. I hope this gave you a better idea about what I'm offering, why you should sign up, what's going to be special in season, and all of that. But yeah, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all Later.